Hello guys,
How
welcome.
we doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Come in, please.
Welcome to Entrepreneurs of Africa. So John, how was your weekend? What did you get up to?
Weekend was quiet. It was far from the usual, but because I worked on Saturday, but weekend was quiet. Normally a bit hectic. It involves a lot of sleeping and a lot of arriving home pretty late.
Sounds great. I can definitely relate to that. So
great.
I'm really curious. Tell me what sparked the idea of Amalgamated Plumbing Services.
Well, it goes back. When I lived in a refugee camp, I didn't do much schooling, so I used to make mud bricks and sell them to the UN. So when I came to Australia and I went to high school, the school was important, but I felt pretty, powerless because I was used to going out there and making results, right away. But school was a long-term investment, which I didn't really feel like I was a part of. So there, left in grade 10 and went on to work, and finished the apprenticeship, and thought it would be a good idea to start something.
Wow, that's amazing. So when exactly did the business start?
So the business is it's about 3 years old now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So but time flies. It feels like it's been forever, but it's only been 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so where does your business operate and what kind of business is it?
Well, we are a commercial plumbing services. So we do a lot of we do townhouses, we do restaurant renovations, we do Domino's fit outs for one of our good clients. So we pretty much do whatever is available for small business. We are not that picky at this point of the time, but commercial work is our favorite part of the plumbing.
That's cool. So are you able to tell me a bit about your experiences, I guess? What have been some challenges or some high points in your whole journey?
Challenges, well, the challenge personal for me is, that as we all know, starting something is the easiest bit. Maintaining what you have started is the hardest bit. So, to break that down, when we started the business, there was a lot of hype in starting. You were motivated, you were willing to work 7 days, whatever it takes, and then you have to deal with the dip in between, and that's what a lot of people don't talk about. That there's the difficulties are in between. You work, and then you don't totally lose focus, but you're not as hungry as you were before, and you have to be able to pick that. You have to be able to see, oh, hold on, this is not how I started, and this is not how things were. So the hardest thing for me was when that dip came. It was a shock to me. I was thinking, what's going on here? Where's all the motivation? Am I starting to take things for granted now? Is this really me? So there's a whole lot of that stuff that goes on. But for people out there, it's part of the whole journey, and you have to realize when you're there that there's a dip, and then you really have to find ways to motivate yourself to be able to get yourself back to where you were when you were really motivated to start that business.
So how did you do that for yourself? How did you bring yourself back to that state where you could be motivated?
Well, how I did it is that along the way, so it would be pretty selfish to say that I started a business, and it would be pretty unrealistic to be able to say that. You meet great people, family members, friends, and those are the people that help you to have that sort of confidence to start a business. So when you go through that sort of dip, we all have mentors, and my mentor is my father. So we have meetings. We have Tuesday, every Tuesday we have meetings to see how things are going. And then, he talks about the dangers of what occurs when, as the business builds up, where things go wrong, and then you sort of shake yourself out of it for a little while, because it kind of reminds you, this is the diagnosis of what happens along the way when you go up and then things start to go down, and you sort of say to yourself, that's sounds a lot like me, so I think it sounds like I'm heading that way, and then you sort of, it's a back and forth thing before you finally get out of it.
Wow, that sounds like a great strategy. So we've talked about, I guess, the low points. What about the high points in terms of your experiences?
The high points, the high points for me are that, is being able to feel like you are giving life all you've got. You're not sitting back. There's a lot of us in this world, and we are pretty much after the same thing, and that is happiness in whatever forms that it might come to you. Individually, happiness could be translated differently, but pretty much, the source of happiness, it's usually has a lot to do with your confidence. So being able to feel like I'm doing my bit, helps me to come closer to that form of being comfortable and being secure.
That's amazing.
So feeling secure is the high point. Yeah.
That's great. That sounds amazing. So in terms of the practicalities of your business, how did you work to build relationships with other people in the trade industry?
Well, building that, it's an interesting thing. Building relationships in the trade industry. You, because of our background, you in your new society, you have great ideas, but you also have great ideas in your indigenous society too. So you kind of use those points. So what I mean is that in most of African cultures, when it comes to things, we are very calm. We are very calm. In the Western culture, in our new culture, things have to be, you have to arrive right on time. You have to do things in according to a system that is provided. But us being calm can be a great compliment in a world that is judged by how fast you move and what stress that sort of demand brings to you. So being able to arrive to a customer that is not happy about a certain kind of a job, or not happy about, or not happy that something has broken down into their house, and providing that calmness and telling them, look, this now is no longer your problem, is our problem. So being able to provide the calmness is what I think we offer.
Thank you. And another thing that I was curious about is how you built your customer base during the start of your business. What were some strategies that you used?
Well, I was lucky enough to have people that were in the trade industry already. So so simply word of mouth did most of the job. So to start off with, we when we first started, our first contract was to build. We got a contract for 7 townhouses. Now for new business, that's nearly a year. You don't have to worry about all of that stuff. All you have to worry about now is the structure of your business, your efficiency. So word of mouth, knowing people around. So in a sense, we've been really lucky. We haven't done it the traditional way, which is intensive advertising and going door knocking. So we haven't done that. It's not that we won't be doing that, because as we grow, the little jobs that we got because of word of mouth would need to expand, and we would advertise then.
So in terms of the future prospects of Amalgamated Plumbing, how do you see yourself catering for, I guess, the future growth of your company?
Well, we definitely want to grow, but the future growth is really governed by steadiness. Like what I said before about calmness, the steadiness. We want to make sure if we have two clients, we have to know. If we have two employees, we have to get used to the whole system of working with those two people. So slow and steady growth. That's what we're after. We don't want to move too fast, but we don't want to move too slow, and that's where I see Amalgamated Plumbing heading.
So do you have any tips for young people who are looking to start up their businesses? Things that you've learned that you wish you would have known?
Have more than just inspiration. It's good to be inspired, but be realistic. Be realistic about what you're about to step in, and and look at it for the long term. Don't just look at it for the immediate impact. Look at it for the long term, and talk to people, talk to older people. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of people that have done exactly what you are trying to do now, that have a lot of knowledge, that are willing to help you. So to never be afraid to ask. Always ask. People love helping other people. It's part of our humanity. We just love to help other people, and you have to tap into that. You have to tap into that into those resources. You can ask a stranger to help. You can ask a stranger for directions, and they will always go out of their way to show you where you should go. Or if they don't know, they would always tell you, "Look, I don't know, but go there and ask someone else." So don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask for help even when you don't think you need it. There's nothing wrong with too much information about what you want to succeed in, and just be realistic about what you are starting, and look at it for a long-term thing. If it's going to be a long-term thing, start it and restructure your life to fit this new thing that you are starting. Because if you're starting something that you want it to succeed, it's no longer going to be business as usual in your lifestyle. There has to be a lot of changes. And if you don't make those changes, then the only thing that ends up changing to allow for those changes that you didn't make is unfortunately the failure of what you were starting.
So would you have any practical steps that people who are starting a business can take in terms of restructuring their lives to cater for their business?
Yeah, look, it will all be different. It will all be different. It will all be different. If I was becoming a soccer coach, and I was doing coaching in the afternoon, you'll have to keep your afternoons free. You have to do the preparation for it. So your lifestyle changes in according to what you are starting. So, for instance, with the plumbing, with the plumbing, we work when there's a lot of work on. So if it needs to be done, if we need to work 7 days a week to get it done, we'll do that. That's just part of the thing. And when being a small business, when you come home, business doesn't really end at work. You come home and you get on the computer and send out invoices or do whatever that's needed to be done before the next morning. So you really become involved in the business, and you have less time for your own self. Now, like I said before, that there finally catches up with you. So you need to put things in place. You need to know that what you are starting, what it demands, and how much time can you allow for it. You can't simply just start because you felt good about it and you're inspired about it, or you think you're going to succeed. You get the numbers and really know what you're getting yourself into.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge with us today, John.
Thank you for the invite, and yeah.